John Medved, founder of Our Crowd, thanks so much for joining us. You were part of a documentary CBN has done called The Genius of Israel. Since that interview, how would you describe what's happening here in Israel?
Look, the war has been taking its toll on the Israeli economy. Unfortunately, it's very expensive to fight a modern war. Israel is fighting on several fronts, as your viewers are aware. We are fighting not just in Gaza against the terrorists of Hamas, but we have to defend our northern border against the terrorists of Hezbollah. We have threats from Iran and even from places like Yemen. And of course, we're fighting in Judea and Samaria to make sure that terror doesn't become a problem there. So all of this costs money. And there are also impacts on certain parts of the Israeli economy, such as the construction, agriculture, where foreign workers, in particular Palestinians, have played a large role. They're now hard to get, and there's a shortage of labor. And in particular, tourism is challenging because of the travel schedules of flights. On the other hand, there's some good news. And the good news is that the major industry here in Israel, as you know, because we spend a lot of time talking about it, is high technology. And high tech, or what we call startup nation, is responsible for about 53% of all of Israel's exports and represents today almost 20% of our GDP, our gross domestic product. So the tech area is still very, very strong. We have amazing companies who lead the world in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence and food technology, in defense technology, in the cloud, in alternative mobility and energy. And what's remarkable is that this year, already in 2024, in the midst of war, the investment dollars that are coming into the Israel tech scene have gone dramatically up, about 40% from last year, the second half. So, and that's, by the way, leading the world in terms of an uptick. The U.S. is doing well, Israel's doing better, and Asia and Europe are down.
Would you say that that's really a confidence boost, not only to the economy, but the fact that many people see the future, a good future for Israel right now, and despite all the wars going on?
Yes, of course. I think that, if you look at what we've achieved here, of the unbelievable story, which of course your viewers understand its roots. Its roots are in the Bible, its roots are in prophecy, and it's prophecy coming true. When you realize that the Jewish people, the indigenous people of this land, have come home after 2,000 years of wandering, have ingathered the exiles, the children of Rachel, where she's crying on the way to on the road to Bethlehem, Jerusalem, that this is all true. And, when I got here, there were about 2 million people. Today, we're 10 million. Okay, we're a significant country, one of the strongest countries in the world in terms of our ability to defend ourselves, leading the world in many areas of technology, helping to cure cancer, helping to feed the planet, because we view our destiny and our mission is not just to survive. Survival's critical, but we need to contribute to the world. We need to build the world. We need to help fix things. It's called tikkun olam. And what drives Israel is this positive energy, which no ragtag band of terrorists is going to stop us. We're very angry. We're very sad. This week in particular, having got the news about the 6 hostages who were brutally murdered, at short range, just when we thought that we were going to get them home. That was a body blow, which has affected my neighborhood since one of the hostages, Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, is from our neighborhood. But all of Israel suffers from this. And our friends suffer from this, and our friends are praying with us, which we appreciate. But on the other hand, you have to take an optimistic long-term look and say, look, we are a people who has suffered a great deal over thousands of years, and yet we're still here. A lot of our enemies from thousands of years ago, they're gone. There's no memory of them. And if you want a little prediction, organizations like Hamas, whose whole purpose is to destroy the Jewish people, well, I've got some advice for them. A lot of people have tried, better people than you, and they've all failed. You are going to fail, and there's going to be no memory of this kind of an organization in 1,000 years from now.
Wow. If you're here for any length of time, John, you realize that Israel is really like a family. And as you said, the news of these hostages being executed was such a emotional and spiritual body blow. Talk about the resilience of Israelis and the Jewish people throughout the years. You've already addressed it, but can you dig a little deeper?
Well, you look at what happened after the Holocaust. We lost 6 million people. We were decimated, destroyed. There were only 600,000 Jews here in Israel. 600,000, facing 100 million Arab neighbors who didn't want us here. And they tried to finish what Hitler started, and it didn't work. Okay, the dry bones from the prophecy of Ezekiel came up, and we succeeded. But we didn't just succeed to survive. We've succeeded in building a beautiful country, a country which is not just fun and great food and beautiful beaches and incredible infrastructure, but a country on the cutting edge of building the future, a country that believes in the future. Our birth rate is the highest birth rate of any country in the OECD. The average Israeli woman has 3.1 children, which is the envy of every country really in the world. And we're an advanced country. These are, we're becoming one of the more successful countries in the world. We still have pockets of poverty and things that we need to solve, but we're doing wonderfully because we believe in the future. We believe in the mission of the country. We have issues to deal with. We're too divided politically. We are trying to, solve internal problems, but also trying to work on solving global issues and helping to contribute to the well-being of the entire planet.
Yeah, as Israel goes through this war and fighting for its survival on several fronts, and it goes through such a difficult, traumatic, emotional time, how important is the support of Christians for Israel right now?
Couldn't be more important. This is the time for the Christian community to stand up, to stand with their Jewish brothers and sisters. We feel this support. We feel the prayers. We feel the fact that there are countless millions of people around the world who are standing with Israel. And we need to hear your voices. We need to hear your voices on social media. We need to hear them in your churches. We need to hear them in your schools and your universities. And we need to hear that any attempt to publicly talk about destruction of the Jewish state or destruction of the Jewish people is not going to work. It is unbelievable that we can have a situation where people organize demonstrations in support of Hamas, while Hamas is publicly calling for the resumption of suicide bombing. They have been trying to put car bombs back in our cities and bombs on our buses, and they almost blew up a busload of children, okay? And this is what crazy nutcases on the universities are talking about. This is what they're supporting. This is rebel at all cost. This is not rebellion, this is slaughter. This is genocide, okay? And what Israel is doing is simply defending itself. We were not anywhere inside Gaza on October 7th, and there were 6,000 terrorists that overran our border and killed 1,200 people in less than 24 hours. Now, if you compare Israel's size, okay, to the United States, that's the equivalent of almost 50,000 people dead in one day. Look at how America reacted justifiably to 9/11. But if you can imagine 50,000 Americans dead, God forbid, in one day, that's the total loss of the Vietnam War. Imagine that it happened in one day. What would happen? Where would the enemy be who would dare to do that? And yet we are taking incredible steps to avoid civilian casualties. The civilian casualty rate, despite the fighting in an incredibly dense urban environment, is about 1-to-1. So for every fighter, there is a non-fighter who's dying, and that is horrible, sad, but we didn't start it. Okay, we are simply making sure that it's going to end now, and there are not going to be rockets on our cities. There are not going to be slaughters in our schools. And if you want to live in peace with us, that's great. We will be wonderful partners for peace. There are many Arab neighbors who've already come to that conclusion, and we're working with them both as a country and my business, our crowd. But if you want to fight us, we will fight, and we are going to survive, because I said before, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel lives, and we are an eternal people. We are a people who have come a long, long way. And Am HaNetzach, the eternal people, Lo Lefached, we're not afraid.
That's an incredible, powerful message for such a time as this. John, any further thoughts, particularly perhaps to people in the United States?
Look, the United States is a blessed country, and the founding fathers saw themselves as building a new Jerusalem on the shores of the beautiful country which became the United States. Universities like Yale and Harvard required Hebrew learning. So from the beginning, there's been this incredible tie between America and Israel. And without American support, Israel could not have achieved what it has achieved. And yet Israel also provides incredible support back to the U.S. in terms of intelligence and defense support, as well as on the technology side, where many of the great American companies such as Google or Amazon or NVIDIA, so much of their work is being done in Israel at a critical level to keep these companies and the American economy going. This partnership needs to be strengthened. We need to step up our efforts on the college campuses, in the political realm, on the media, especially social media, where people get the truth, where people understand what this is about. This is about the nation of Israel having come back to their historic homeland, and certain nutcases wanting to destroy us. This has happened, unfortunately, through the generations. It's not going to work. But the support and the help we get from our Christian brothers and sisters is of the most importance. And it's meaningful to me personally and to the entire nation of Israel.
Yeah. Well, that's such a poignant and powerful message. John Medved, founder of Our Crowd, thanks for you joining us and giving us your insight and perspective.
Thank you, Chris, and God bless you.